After taking a deep dive into his journey of becoming a car guy and about his learnings from being part of a student automotive team, this time we are going to be discussing supercars, hypercars, and F1 yet again with Kartikay Awasthi. Welcome, Kartikay bhai. Glad to have you back.
Hey guys, thanks for inviting.
So, man, starting with the hot topic of the day, the Hennessy Venom F5 has just been revealed. It's Hennessy's
Yeah,
attempt at breaking 300-mile mark. So, what do you think? Will it able to do it?
I think it'll definitely beat the 300-mile mark, but I doubt it'll beat Chiron's record, or if it does, by just a bit, maybe 310 miles an hour at max.
310 miles at max. Cause Hennessy is
Yeah,
claiming like they are going to like 315 or 16, something like that. That's the realm they are
yeah. See,
targeting.
I mean, like at this point, I don't think the transmission or the power is the problem. As I've stated many times, it's the tires which are the issue. And when a company like Bugatti couldn't figure it out, and uh, they had to electronically limit Chiron so that uh, it doesn't affect the tires that much.
Hmm.
I don't think he's advanced enough to have better tires than what Bugatti can afford.
Hmm.
So I don't think so.
Hmm.
310 is what I can say at best.
So what do you think about the Venom F5 in general? Like the performance numbers, the interior, the engine, and all of that.
So yeah, as for the engine, I think it's a 6.6 liter turbocharged, right?
Yeah, twin turbocharged.
Yeah, a V12. Yeah. So yeah, I really love the design. And moreover, recently Hennessy even told it's only a show car. It's not a road legal car. So I don't think the record will really matter that much. But
Hmm.
overall, it's a great car. I think it's really deep into the engineering, and I think it's a really great car in general.
1817 horsepower.
Yep, 1000.
That's the 17 horsepower less away from being the bolide.
Well, there it is. Then you can compare the Bolide and uh, F5 together because
Yeah,
neither of them are. Straight.
yeah. So yeah, since we are talking about the bolide, what do you think about the bolide?
Okay, so like I saw the video that Bugatti posted about the car, and
Hmm.
it was like they stripped down the Chiron and they removed whatever wasn't necessary in a track,
Hmm.
and they made it into a raw racing car with lower ride height. And like I went mad when I saw that. Like the first time, I was like, "That's like brilliant design."
Hmm.
It's like probably one of the what do you call? According to me, to be the best car of the entire decade so far, in my opinion. But again, it's a track only thing.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't even know if it's a track only thing because I don't think they'll make more units of it either. But as a concept and as a demo,
Hmm.
I think it's a great piece of engineering.
It might be, the epitome of IC engineering.
Yeah,
That's what I
so far,
thought.
yes.
The epitome of IC engineering, and maybe
Mhm.
Bugatti's fullest potential at making uh, an IC engine car. Because Bugatti is
You
also
you
going
never
to be
know.
switching to electric cars soon.
Well, let's see how it goes on.
Because even Stefan Winkelmann said earlier that electric cars will be coming in soon at Bugatti. But recently, in a statement that Bugatti issued, he said that engines should last as long as possible. So, what do you think? Like,
Yeah, I
will
think
the
Bugatti will
next?
not directly go to EVs. Obviously, they will have
Yeah.
a sequence through hybrids
Hmm.
and then towards EVs. But I'm pretty sure for the better part of my life, it's going to be ICs and hybrids. So I don't mind.
Even I don't mind until they sound good and are fast.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. When Hennessy was asked like whether they will be making an electric car or not, they said that they won't be wasting their times on hybrid. They would directly be switching to IC because that is something they look forward to. And like they are not a big fan of electric cars because they are heavy, but they will be
Mhm.
switching directly to electric cars without uh, trying even for the hybrids. That's what Hennessy says.
I don't know. In my opinion, I think hybrids are like the best solution we have. Like it has the power and high speed of IC engines, and it can also give you those instant torque figures like electric cars. So I'm not sure why Hennessy decided this step, but I think hybrids are the go-to at this point. EVs are still a long point off in the high end and the top range of cars, in my opinion.
They are the best of both worlds, hybrids.
Hybrids are the best of both worlds. That's why, big motorsports like World Endurance Championship and F1 both choose hybrid and not
Hmm.
like or only IC.
Yeah. So, before Hennessy revealed the F5, we also saw yet another American hypercar maker, SSC, coming up with the Tuatara, and they claimed
Yep,
to break the 300 mile per hour gap. We saw what happened. The world saw it.
yep.
They basically faked it. So, what are your opinions on faking the world
Like
record?
the first way I got to know about the thing was from AutoGear, their official Instagram page.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, that's actually damn great, 331 miles per hour peak, and it's like that's absolutely brilliant. And then
Hmm.
later, I saw Shmi's video on that, and I was like, why would a publication like AutoGear post it without even verifying anything? Like, such a big uh, car journalist organization, and they would post like anything they just saw on the internet without having to actually verify. And it was very weird. And moreover, then I think they did good damage control when Shelby actually came out and openly announced that they'll be rerunning the whole thing and they'll
Hmm.
invite a few YouTubers to witness it live.
Hmm.
I think that was good, but I'm not very certain they can recreate that figure or they can even create that figure at this
Hmm.
point. So I had my doubts at it from day one, but yep, it is what it is.
When did your doubts started arising? Like when you saw the video for the first time of the record?
No, when I saw the figure 331, I was like, no way that's happening.
Hmm.
I mean, like you have these smaller companies, like relatively smaller
Hmm.
companies like SSC, Hennessy, and then you have giant multinational engineering corporations
Hmm.
who are not able to figure how to break this 310 figure,
Hmm.
without having to revolution entire technology. But
Hmm.
it doesn't make sense at this point to beat that figure. I mean, not sense. I mean, it's not possible to beat that figure as far as I know.
Hmm.
So, yeah, let's see. When Hennessy runs, we'll know. Let's see.
Yeah, like the first time I saw the video, the car was accelerating just like a normal supercar till 200 miles per hour. Over 200
Mhm,
miles per hour, it just went like 300 miles is nothing. 200 to 300 took about like 4 to 5 seconds, and that's
mhm.
the part where I was like, there is something fishy going on here. But I didn't had any solid proof because I am nobody in this car world. But when
Um,
Shmi and these all came out, I was like, okay, I was
No,
right.
Shmi actually used really nice. Like his analysis was really good, where he actually used particular points in the road for reference.
Hmm.
You need to have a lot of knowledge to to
Hmm.
figure out that method, finding out anything. Like
Later,
hats off, man. Great stuff.
yeah, later Robert and Misha joined him as well, and Robert himself is an engineer, so he like gone all in, and he was like exposed SSC, and then SSC of course planned that they would be doing a rerun of the world record.
Yeah, but I need to see. I don't think they'll actually do it again. I don't think the car is capable of it yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, but
I
the most
think
surprising point was that people break records by around 3 4 miles per hour. Even if you
exactly.
see the
Yeah,
past records, they went like we are faster than 30 miles per hour faster than this. That's
and
almost
like
50
yeah,
kilometers
30
per
is a
hour.
huge figure. Exactly. Yes,
Because
but
in past as well, Bugatti and Koenigsegg have fought with each other, and they have like 2 miles per hour
exactly,
faster, 3 miles per hour faster. And here
exactly, and
comes
you
this
know
company.
how engineering of both Koenigsegg and Bugatti goes on.
Hmm.
And with such kind of budgets that they have, when they are competing for 2 or 3 miles an hour each time,
Hmm.
30 miles is just, I don't know, it's next level, I guess.
Hmm. Out of all these hypercars that are claiming to break the 300 miles per hour record, the one which actually
Uh-huh.
broke was the Chiron Super Sport. So, like, what is your favorite 300 plus mile car, plus mile per
Obviously,
hour
it has to
car?
be the Chiron.
Yeah. The one that
Obviously,
actually did
it has to
it.
be the Chiron. Yep, the Super Sport and Super Sports and all those.
The best thing was, despite the limitations, do you know there are several limitations of running their car that fast on era Lessian?
Like,
First of all, era Lessian, the track is much, closer to the sea level, so the air is very much dense there.
hmm.
So what happens that the drag which is
Oh
created
yeah,
on the
yeah.
car is relatively higher on era Lessian, where
Mhm.
the car was tested. So Bugatti anticipates that the car can perform around 5 to 6% better than what it did at Aralesian if it was on the same highway, I guess. Nevada highway where Koenigsegg
Yep,
tests
never
the car.
highway.
Yeah.
Yep,
So like 5 to 6%. Like if you add 5 to 6% of what Chiron Super Sports did on the Aralesian, the Chiron Sport is capable of breaking the 500 kmph barrier mark.
yep, very, very possible there.
And
I'm not exactly sure how much it affects though. Even though both cars are turbocharged, I think presence of denser air will mean availability of more oxygen as well.
hmm,
So cars can push harder, but I'm not sure how much the effects will be considering that both vehicles are turbocharged there.
yeah, both are turbocharged, but someone said some official statement came out that it could perform 5 to 6% better. Moreover, the
Well,
Chiron
yeah,
was still
it's very
pulling.
probable. If
If
Bugatti has said it, it's most likely true.
yeah,
They don't usually lie about their figures. So
I'm stoked about their engineering, man. Like their
yep,
engineering, they
really well.
duh, they do. So have you seen the AMG Project One, the car which Mercedes
Yep.
claims is going to be the fastest car which money can buy around the Nürburgring?
Well,
Do you
yep.
think it has the potential to do so?
Well, it would be the first time Mercedes has broken a track record in Nürburgring. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's very probable because considering its specs and all the aerodynamic that goes into it,
Hmm.
it's I would say it's probably the best IC engine related vehicle we ever have. Even though it's a hybrid unit, but it's one of the best IC engine vehicles when it comes out. I'm pretty sure because it directly takes your F1 tech and brings it into a car which you can drive
Hmm.
around a track. Like I don't think there's any comparison there. There's a lot of reasons why it's difficult to do that, but
Hmm.
I don't think I should be going over them right now.
Hmm.
But it's a brilliant vehicle in my opinion, and uh, I think I think Mercedes wouldn't go back on it if the GTR could break a record in its class. I think the Project One can definitely do it in Nürburgring again.
It has a 1.6 liter engine, right, from Lewis Hamilton's
Yes,
F1 car.
V6, yeah.
That engine will be so small,
Imagine that.
man. 1.6 liter V6.
But yeah, the hybrid power unit is brilliant in that. Like the motors go up to 50,000 RPM, so it's like
50,000 RPM.
50,000 RPM. Yes.
Damn. So Kartik, like in hypercars, what do you look for most? Like top speed or track records? What do you know care
I
about more?
I I actually prefer more about track records. It's a more depiction of how drivable the car is
Hmm.
than to show how fast the car is.
Hmm.
So I definitely do prefer track record times because you can't always just have a drag race with your car. You need to
Hmm.
go around as well. So yep,
It's more related to the real world timings.
yeah, real world timings definitely.
Hmm.
You
Super.
know, because when you make a supercar or a hypercar,
Hmm.
it isn't just your engine which matters. It's your all around package, and I think nothing tests is better than a track.
Moreover, top speeds are just mostly for bragging rights.
Exactly. Yes.
Hmm. Now, Ferrari since 2019 has been launching, cars after cars. We saw the Roma,
A
then
lot
we
of cars.
saw
Yeah.
the 8112 GTS, the SF90 Stradale, then we saw the F8 Tributo. Do you think Ferrari is going in the right direction by launching so many cars?
Well, they do manage to get the exhaust buzz every time, so I'm not sure if it's right. But now, after all the drama that's been going on with their CEO signing off and like new CEOs being hired,
Hmm.
I think some radical changes have been made there.
Hmm.
So, uh, well, as far as engineering goes, Ferrari's been doing really good with all their road cars or track
Hmm.
cars,
Hmm.
except for Formula One. But I do feel, yeah, the cars look great. It's brilliant, and like them being able to give out so many cars so frequently sure puts them on the right track. So yeah,
But being the supercar manufacturers they are, they should, like it almost feels like they are becoming Maruti Suzuki. Like they have so many cars in their lineups, they don't feel like a
yeah,
supercar
that's true.
manufacturer anymore.
Yeah, but they do have limited quantities of each, so I guess you have some form of exclusivity there. So
But not so limited, if you consider the fact that their cars are, some of their cars are approaching the 10,000 number mark. So, not so limited.
yeah, a few of them older ones, yes. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
Recently, the GTC for Lusso V12 car
Haha.
of Ferrari got discontinued, man. Do you feel bad about it?
um, Not exactly sure. I amn't really a Ferrari fan, so I really don't care much about their lineups being discontinued. But yeah, the GTC for Lusso was definitely a very beautiful one. So yeah, mixed feelings.
I like their V12s are probably, like one of the best on the planet.
Oh yeah,
Lamborghini and
Italian
Ferrari on,
V12s,
yeah,
definitely.
Italian V12s. So, like if they had discontinued one of their turbocharged V8 cars, then it wouldn't matter a lot. But since it was a
But yeah,
V12,
V12s are.
yeah, it hurt.
But I think everyone's moving away from V12s. It's like V6s and V8s are like kind of the sweet spot in IC engines, where you have good power as well as good weight
Hmm.
with, decent emissions. But yeah, I would say in this current stage of the world, I think V12 is a little overkill.
Hmm.
So V12s are absolutely amazing. Definitely, there's no doubt about it.
But the
But yeah,
first engine that's going to be dying is the W16, I guess.
oh yeah, that would be sad though. If
Largest
Bugatti
engine
discontinued,
on sale, man.
then
But
exactly.
like
But
people,
yeah,
yeah, people, like abuse that engine, like rant about it, like what's the need for an 8-liter turbocharged engine, this and that, four turbos, this and that. A V8 can do the job. Most people say like Koenigsegg can do the same job in half an engine. And I'm like, yeah, you don't understand the point of Bugatti putting in that
well, yeah, there's
W16.
a difference when you have your entire power entirely through IC engines and when you have a hybrid thing. It's a lot different there.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess Bugatti has to move along with time. So yeah, it'll discontinue the W16 soon. So let's see.
I think that supercars and hypercars can go as low as V6 in terms of engine. Below that, V4s,
F1 manages V6, so
yeah.
I wouldn't see why not.
Even like
I think
five
six
cylinders
cylinders
can
is
do the
kind
job.
of like the sweet spot there. Yeah.
Yeah, six cylinders.
I think six cylinders is best. Yes.
Yeah, six cylinders would be the lowest, I think. Like for five cylinders and four cylinders won't be that good. They won't sound even that good.
Yep, definitely. I think F2 uses four cylinders, if I'm not wrong.
No, 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 no.
And F2
F2,
cars sound really good.
F2, or Formula 2.
F2. Yeah, Formula 2, yeah.
I am not much into motorsports, but
I think they have 4 liters of V4. I'm not certain. I haven't seen their spec sheet in quite a while, so I don't remember correctly.
going to check out their cars. Well, it all depends upon the manufacturer if it is able to, tune the exhaust or not. Cause
No, in Formula 2, you're supposed to have like every team has the same power unit.
hmm,
So it's how they build their car around the power unit is what makes the difference.
okay.
That's why people prefer F2 because the racing is a lot closer and the gap between uh, teams is a lot less.
Hmm.
So
The
like
cars
there's
are
more
almost the
intense
same.
racing in F2. They're very
Yeah.
very similar.
It's
I
all
think
about the
last
driver.
season among in 18 races there were 13 different winners.
13 different winners.
Yes, and in F1 I think what like Pierre Gasly, Max Verstappen, Bottas, Hamilton, four
Oh.
winners in the entire season.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's the racing is a lot better in F2, but the technology is a lot better in F1. And I'm more of an engineering guy, so I prefer F1 over F2.
I can totally get you. Generally, what are your views on the SF90 specifically? Like, it has the power of a hypercar, but it is available at the price of a supercar. Do you like? Do you
Yeah,
like these
I
kind
think
of supercars?
Yes, definitely I do. Like where Ferrari brings such experience of hypercars down to a relatively more affordable market,
Hmm.
it really brings out, how reachable technology is to regular people. And I think this will even promote other companies to actually push such hypercar tech into supercar pricing territory.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a good move. Ferrari leading it is a great thing.
I'm not a fan of Ferrari's F8 Tributo, but when Ferrari pushed the SF90 Stradale into, like when they made the SF90 Stradale, I was like, finally someone is bringing the hypercar technology into supercar area, into the supercar realm, and the first
Well,
supercar has
the
been
line
delivered in
between them is
India.
getting thinner every day. So
Yeah, and the first supercar in Asia, SF90, has got delivered in India, Chennai.
yep, I saw the post recently,
It costs 8.56 crores
including tax or
in on-road price Delhi. That's what I saw.
oh okay,
Just
that's
think
nice.
about it, man. You can buy like
Someone has
three
a lot of money.
Lamborghini. Yeah, man. That guy was, just rolling around on the streets of Chennai, and I kind of felt proud that wow, first SF90 Stradale landed in Chennai, in Asia. That's also in
That's
Asia.
actually nice. Good.
That made even more
Yep.
proud. McLaren and AMG have gone all in and created their own track monsters. The 765 LT and the GT Black Series. Which one do you like
Yep.
the most and why?
Well, like okay, so I think back when I'd seen the Grand Tour, I saw about this AMG GTR,
Hmm.
and then GTR is the same vehicle which is even used in F1
Hmm.
medical cars, the
Hmm.
safety cars. So like all throughout, I've been a fan of the GTR, and then they released the GT Black Series, which
Hmm.
is like more of an upgraded version of the GTR itself.
Hmm.
I I absolutely loved it. Like I would, even though I like McLaren so much, I would definitely choose the GT Black Series over the 765 NT.
Hmm.
It's
GT Black
just
Series
about
recently became
I
the Nürburgring King as well.
yep, as well in its own class.
It broke SVJ's record.
Well, it's fast. You could say that.
But man, it doesn't
It's very
sound good.
AMG cars aren't exactly meant to break track records. They're meant for the fun you have while driving, while having a
Hmm.
lot of luxury as well.
Hmm.
I think the GT3, the AMG GT and GTR and the GT Black Series break records is like a huge thing.
Hmm.
So yeah.
But the GTR, the GT Black Series doesn't sound that good if you have listened to it closely. Most people agreed with me, like, it sounds like a diesel vehicle. Like,
Yep, it definitely does. But I love the styling and it's fast, so
but when
I'm
that
willing to
styling
make it
doesn't,
that.
yeah, when that styling doesn't justify that sound, it feels bad, man.
Yeah, but I am willing to let it go. So
Yeah. The
because
765 LT looks very cool, though.
yeah, definitely. Like McLaren has had one of the most beautiful designs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus I don't think I'd fit in a McLaren 765 LT. Let's see.
What are your opinions on manual transmissions fading away? Less than 2% of the total car sale in US are manual. Rest 98% are automatics or some form of automatic transmission. So is the manual
So
transmission
like
on the verge of extinction?
as for US, I think a lot of people are moving towards electric vehicles.
Hmm.
So they're having a gearbox or a transmission there doesn't make a lot of sense.
Hmm.
So I think like only very few electric cars have actual gear systems, and they're like just two gears at max.
Hmm.
Reasons, pushing towards other technologies. While even in IC cars,
Hmm.
uh, a computer can always judge better when it is a shift than you can. Although
Hmm.
manual are much more challenging. I would say challenge. I mean, not really challenging, but
Hmm.
compared to manuals, more
Hmm.
technical to drive, more fun to drive.
Hmm.
I think in a point of view from efficiency and control, in road going cars,
Hmm.
an automatic transmission is much better.
Hmm.
Yeah, but when it comes to racetracks, I don't think a computer can just judge that fast. So gearboxes will definitely remain manual for track cars.
Okay. So now let's shed some light on F1 because that happens to be your favorite topic. You know,
Yes, it does.
Sebastian Vettel will now be racing for Aston Martin and Carlos Sainz will now be racing for Ferrari. What do you think? Is this going to
Yeah.
be, the start of a new era because of this driver exchanges?
See, as far as I can say, I don't think as Vettel is immensely talented, he's probably one of the best on the grid, apart from Hamilton. But uh, I don't think he'll win championships at Aston Martin Racing because one, they are relatively new. Even with Racing Point, all their tech that they'll carry forward, I don't think they'll have a championship winning car until when Mercedes is in the game. And again, from 2022, the rules change, so the cars will fundamentally and aerodynamically be completely different. So it's then to see who would actually dominate that era. It's going to be a new era itself. Like we are in a current era of hybrid tech from 2014 onwards, and Mercedes has been dominating in every single year. But I don't think any other team will be able to replicate that from 2022, considering how close the field has gotten at this point. With the midfield like Racing Point, Renault, and McLaren challenging each other so closely. And with Honda leaving F1, I doubt there's going to be like utter domination on any side. It's going to be a very close field, and I think Vettel will do great, but I don't think he'll win another championship. And as for Carlos going to Ferrari, I pity him because uh, Ferrari aren't in the greatest shape today. And Carlos is a great driver. He's been making his statement from Renault and in McLaren itself. So I don't think this move was right, but he did it even before the 2020 season started. So I don't think he would have thought it through. But yeah, driving for Scuderia Ferrari is a big deal. So I guess that helps him there. I'm more excited to see Daniel Ricciardo in McLaren next year, along with Lando Norris. So let's see how it goes on.
And what are some of the changes that will be occurring in 2022?
So, according to what the FIA has told, okay, like currently one of the biggest reasons uh, the racing is not so close in F1 is because
Hmm.
uh, the cars who are leading, they leave a lot of dirty air behind. So
Hmm.
the cars cannot closely follow, as they have a lot of disadvantages with dirty air. That dirty air is basically disturbed air,
Hmm.
so it's not smoothly flowing over their aerodynamic components,
Hmm.
which gives them less downforce.
Hmm.
So with the newer rule, I think FIA has told that the following cars will only be experiencing 10% lesser downforce, which is a lot more bearable than
Hmm.
current 40 or 50% less downforce when you
Hmm.
follow a car.
Hmm.
So one's that, and I think they've limited the engine power as well,
Hmm.
because I think so far both Mercedes and Renault have claimed to have crossed 1,000 horsepower on their F1 power units,
Hmm.
and so which is actually pretty brilliant because it's 1.6 liter V6. So yeah, I primarily it's to promote closer racing, and with the budget caps at 120 or 140 million dollars,
Hmm.
I think yeah, the development of bigger teams will be pretty similar to the development of smaller teams.
Hmm.
So it should put the field more closer, and I think it might actually help revive that older generations of F1,
Hmm.
where racing was a lot better than what it is today.
Hmm. Man, bhai, you might be seeing Ferrari's condition in F1. Like it is deteriorating. Like Ferrari is not in the best shape today. What are the reasons for that?
Okay, so Ferrari had some time where it had to figure out its power unit issues,
Hmm.
and through late 2018 and 2019, when they actually really started challenging for wins, and they won a lot of Grand Prix,
Hmm.
uh, it looked like Ferrari was back in the game. It was all sorted out. But throughout after the season got over, there was complaints about Ferrari's power unit. So the FIA prescribes a 100 kilograms per hour limit to the fuel flow into the engine,
Hmm.
and what Ferrari and the fuel flow meter is given by FIA itself. And what Ferrari was doing is that intervals in which the fuel flow meter checks for the how much fuel is going into the engine,
Hmm.
it boosted the amount of fuel that was being pumped in.
Hmm.
So they were able to use like 106 to 110 kilos of fuel per hour. So
Hmm.
even though they initially had to load their cars with more fuel,
Hmm.
the cars could output much more power than the others. I think they had almost a 60 horsepower advantage on the straight. So if you would have seen any highlights from 2019,
Hmm.
you would see how in it was so easy for the Ferrari to overtake other cars.
Hmm.
So when FIA got that, uh, they didn't really come out with what happened exactly. They had a confidential settlement with Ferrari, which none of
Hmm.
the other teams know exactly.
Hmm.
But yeah, now FIA has decided to put two fuel flow meters,
Hmm.
and all this happened just before the F1 pre-season testing of 2020. So they couldn't really make huge changes to the engine,
Hmm.
and the engine was again designed on the same fact that they would be pumping more fuel when the fuel flow meter is not measuring it.
Hmm.
So I guess like yeah, they built their car around that engine, and that engine wasn't allowed basically. So yeah, I wouldn't exactly say it's a gray area of rules, but I
Hmm.
think that was pretty blatant on Ferrari's part to be doing
Hmm.
that.
Lastly, man, a news just came in that Porsche and Audi will be going back to Le Mans. Are you
Yeah,
excited?
that would be great. Both of the teams have had a history there, and like of dominating the field.
Hmm.
And I guess seeing them go head to head would be another great thing. But yeah, it's funny that Audi has come back while Volkswagen has shut their own motorsports division. So let's see how it turns out.
Hmm. Also, bhai, since engines in F1 are getting smaller and smaller, what do you think that will there be an ultimate stage where Formula E and F1 will just combine with each other?
I wouldn't say it's not possible, but I would say it's pretty long off because as per what FIA has told, they aim to be carbon neutral by 2030. So either they're going to compensate for all the uh, emissions that they're going to produce,
Hmm.
or they're going to move to a non-polluting fuel alternative. But I'm not sure what they mean with it.
Hmm.
But I don't think it's. I mean, I do think it's entirely possible that one day F1 and FE are going to fuse together into one sport.
So, man, why do you think that F Formula E doesn't get that much of like bigger tracks, hype, and respect as much as Formula One gets? I
See,
get it.
the problem with it is mainly, a lot of people have the consensus that, it's an electric thing, it's not going to be fun and all.
Hmm.
And obviously, it doesn't sound as good as Formula One.
Hmm.
But I think there's a problem with the management as well that they don't try getting it to, iconic tracks like, Spa, Monza, and
Hmm.
Silverstone and all that.
Hmm.
Uh, if I'm not wrong, Formula E is conducted in airstrips. They make a track out of the airstrips itself
Hmm.
and around the airports and all that stuff.
Hmm.
I think the management as well needs to give it more attention, but I don't know how entirely if it's possible or not, considering their revenue is not so great.
Hmm.
But yeah,
But Mahindra is dominating Formula E for a long time, and
and
I think
yes,
they will
Mahindra is
continue
good
to
at
do
it.
it. Yeah, I mean, it feels great, like when foreign auto journalists take the name like Mahindra is the Formula E dominator, and so, man, it feels good. It feels great.
It feels good, yes, because India doesn't really have a motorsport history, right? Mahindra
Mm,
is leading it, so it's a
mm.
big thing.
Yeah, in electric, he say like it's great.
Yep, definitely.
Recently, even Yehan, what was his name, man? I
Jehan
forgot him.
Daruvala,
Yeah,
Jehan Daruvala.
he
Thank you.
won. He won a podium, right, in F2.
Yeah, he won the race,
Yeah, he won the
first
race.
race.
Sorry, he won the
He
race.
won a podium, and the next week he won the sprint race.
Feels so great.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first time in any Formula series that the Indian national anthem was played, and it was a big
Hmm.
moment.
Yeah.
Like considering how he's ended his year
Hmm.
and how like we don't really know how competitive the F2 grid will be
Hmm.
because there it's only about drivers and a lot of
Hmm.
new drivers come in every season.
Hmm.
But I can pretty much say, considering how good of a team Carlin is,
Hmm.
with the support of Red Bull and everything,
Hmm.
uh, I can positively say that I think Daruvula would be a good contender for the F2 championship next year.
And maybe he can transition to F1 in future as well.
Yeah, definitely. If he
Hmm.
does, that would be brilliant. That would be the second Indian we know in F1.
Hmm. So that will be a wrap for this time. Bye.
Yep. Thank
Thank
you.
you for coming in, man, for your in-depth insights and knowledge regarding all these topics. We will do an F1 special episode in the future. There will be no time foundations
Definitely.
then.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Thanks, man.
Sure, see you then.
Bye for this time.